There are a lot of different words and phrases that could be used to describe Stripperella as a show. Heinous, pandering, unintelligent, a waste of talent. However, the one word that never really sprung to mind for me was boring. Well, that's actually a bit of a misnomer, but I guess that the nonsensical plan of Kinko doesn't quite roll off the tongue as easily. We open the episode with a family trying to find their cat.
I would like to make 100 color copies. Fluffer is missing.
Did I say cat? I meant their poor joke. Only for this to happen. So you might think that copy machine is going to create an evil duplicate who's going to cause all sorts of havoc, a la Earthworm Jim.
Since I hate losing, you must love it! So why not give up right now? Oh, don't be so literal-minded.
But no, it's gonna hypnotize him to rob the only bank that apparently has no guards. Not that having any guards would help, of course, as another bank on their block had all their guards beaten up by some rapping tit in a bowler hat. Speaking of which, we're 2 minutes in and the show has already played its trump card, meaning that a large amount of the audience just created their own Jackson Pollocks and changed the channel.
Tomorrow's August 9th. I know it sounds weird, but August 9th's always been a really bad day for me.
I bet you have an interesting story about that.
No.
So, Erotica, now that we're going steady and junk, I was thinking that, well, maybe we should start fooling around.
Tom Kenny, what the hell are you doing here?
Oh, look, I'm just talking about kissing, not full insertion or anything.
Stripperella, the show that makes you think about children having sex. Also, what sort of name is Erotica? Even BJ Blazkowicz would look at that name and find it embarrassing.
Listen, I've been meaning to talk to you. I think maybe we should just be friends.
You know, I'm honestly curious about what Stripperella's origin story was meant to be. How did you get from conservative-minded child to trashy-looking stripper/secret agent?
I'm putting a curse on you! Every August 9th from now on, you will have the worst day ever!
And why is your go-to voice for a character I'd like to set on fire, SpongeBob?
Bad things always happen to me on August 9th.
Well, I'll cover your shift, but I think you're crazy.
Look, everybody, police chase! Oh, I love police chases. Almost as much as I love policemen.
Does it seem weird to anybody else there's a blatant gay stereotype in a show that was obviously meant for straight guys? And stranger still, you'd think they'd want a woman behind the bar so that people would spend more money on drinks. Because it's just lost business otherwise. So that might explain why the strip club is so quiet that the patrons get distracted by a car chase on TV.
Hello? Guys? Boobies are jiggling?
And for the first time ever, the show has actually surprised me, because it just summed itself up in a single sentence.
Did you ever notice how you never see Erotica and Stripperella in the same place?
What an odd and completely random thing to say.
Well, yes, it is. Now, would you like to act like it wasn't?
I mean, a lot of people have never been in the same place as Stripperella. We haven't.
It was just an observation.
Because constantly calling out the generic tropes that you're using totally makes you original. It doesn't at all draw more attention to the fact that you are still using the same tropes as the ones you're meant to be satirizing.
Good morning, Stripperella.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here. Continuity is just an abstract concept to you, isn't it? Like complex characters or actual social commentary? Or is this meant to be one of the obvious mistakes to provide adult humor like it claims on IMDb? Because truly there's nothing more adult in this world than people acting wildly incompetent and yet somehow still getting paid. Stripperella does to her boss what I'd like to do to the writers of this show before we get back to the plot.
There's been a rash of unusual crimes. In each case, the crime was committed by a usually harmless citizen with no previous criminal record.
Wow, they must think that their audience is Jeff Fisher level stoned if they are seriously taking the Archie's Weird Mystery approach to storytelling. Though, to give credit to Archie's Weird Mysteries for once, they never padded out their episodes with pointless scenes that could easily be written out and still end up at the same point with no problem. Which of course makes me sound like I'm stoned because I'm being positive about that pile of shit.
Innocent people are succumbing to my ingenious mind control machine. I will be a god!
If you're not Raoul Julia, calling yourself a god just seems really stupid. But now we have established continuity going away for sake of action, also known as the Sabrina the Teenage Witch School of Plot Development, as the machine works differently to how it did the first time, as well as its after effect as the victim scrunches up the paper instead of carrying it out. Though still not as bad, I guess, as Super Ninja's hereditary ninja trait. It's the only time I've ever seen a plot point be brought up and then immediately forgotten about in the space of the same scene. For the look on her face, she's either pooped out a pine cone, or she's also noticed that the lighting department has created shadows where there was no source of light. Being literally as dumb as she looks, and the writers think the audience is, Stripperella finds the paper from Kinko's latest victim. And then for the next 2.5 minutes, nothing happens, because the plot comes to a screeching halt. You know, there are other shows out there now that are cramming complex plots and characters into 30 minutes, or even 15 minutes. Shows like Avatar The Last Airbender, Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, hell, even My Little Pony ramps up its drama at the beginning and end of each season. And yet you think it's fine to pad out your episode. You think that this is of acceptable quality. I've seen people defend this show and I don't understand why they're doing it. I cannot possibly understand or fathom why you thought you'd get another season when the stuff you put out in your first season is piss poor. Kinko traps Stripperella by having her shoes stuck to a conveyor belt. That's a sentence I just said. Where we finally get the nutty corn topping atop this shit sundae.
I will have thousands of them. Observe, each of these red lights represent a Kinko store. When I pull that lever, all of the machines will be activated.
Why?
I will have thousands of them.
No. I got that. Why? You have a global franchise, and yet your plan is not domination through mind control. It's just apparently stealing more money to add to the millions that you likely already have.
First of all, you shouldn't expect anyone to understand that. Second, you need to know that every time you try to explain it, you just make it worse.
Stripperella almost gets crushed until she remembers that she can take off her shoes. Once again, that's a sentence I just said. With the episode playing it off as part of the curse subplot from the beginning. You know, that subplot that's popped up only a few times throughout the episode where it was just embarrassing moments of bad luck for Stripperella. Despite the fact that not being able to remember you can take off your shoes is not bad luck, it's utter stupidity.
Huh, I think we may have just killed a man.
If anyone asks, Jaden did it.
Yeah, wait, what?
So we wrap up subplot 1 with what appears to be the most painful erection of that man's life, while in subplot 2 they might just be repeating the same audio from the beginning.
I'm putting a curse on you, Persephone. Every August 10th from now on, you will have the worst day ever!
Because it was so hilarious the first time. This entire episode just ends up feeling like you got blackout drunk the night before a test, and you could easily ace it if your head didn't feel like...
Ah! Oh, the pain! Oh my God, make it stop!
This episode isn't the worst one of this show, I'm sure, but a lot of the show's major faults are more apparent here. While other episodes could claim something memorable you could latch onto, everything here is so bland that even the Super Friends cartoons felt like it took more risks. The villain's too generic for a show like this, which is trying to be superhero satire, since he's not over the top in absurdity and it's not completely straight for the same reason. It's just a wasted opportunity. Equally, the plot's far too dull. There's certainly comedy there to mine, given that it's a mind-controlled copy machine, but nothing funny is done with it. And when that's your main plot point, then you'd think they'd have some fun with it. But instead, they fill the blank sections of their script with 2 other subplots, neither of which are any better. The cat subplot is there for no reason, since it could be removed, no issue, and isn't really that funny, unless you find Pamela Anderson saying pussy hilarious. While the bad luck subplot only pops up sparingly, instead of being the constant obstacle throughout the episode, which it should have been. This whole episode feels like the first draft that accidentally got through to the editing process, but no one noticed. And for a show that's meant to be a satire on the superhero genre, the worst thing it can be is boring. Well, I'll be back soon with more of this terrible show. But until then, see you next time.